feel more comfortable having gone through those sessions and what you're doing? Do you feel like you're able to work faster, I guess?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the key to being a really good football player, is really not thinking. And the only way you can get to that level is by having excellent preparation and really understanding your job, understanding the offense. And, right now I am farther along than I was, obviously, in the spring, but I'm not where I need to be, but, that's what training camp is for.
Brendan, can you take us through that? Please take us through that first play where you beat out Janoris on the jump ball. What was that like, and how did it feel to get the reaction from the crowd gathered?
It felt good. I mean, you hear a lot of talk about being over 30, and then there's an extreme drop-off. So for me, that play was awesome because it was the first play of really training camp, because it's the first time going against the defense. So being a new guy, you want to prove yourself. And then secondly, I want to prove to myself that I can still do it. So making a play that could possibly end up on maybe not the top 10, but maybe the top 20 plays, felt good. So, it was like, okay, I can still do this.
Brandon, can you talk about the secondary in this team? And as obviously you just had some mini camp experience with them, but and in specific Landon Collins, which you've seen, obviously you made a lot of big plays last year.
Obviously I've been on inside the NFL the last 3 years, and so we get a chance to watch guys across the league, and you really don't get that opportunity when you don't have a gig like that. So I remember just being in production meetings and watching him mic'd up, and the way he led stood out to me. And just being honest, I never heard of him before last year. And the thing that stood out was, who is this guy? One, two, I really haven't seen anyone lead that way since Brian Dawkins. And for him to be so young, I thought it was even more impressive. I mean, he's a stud. I mean, you don't get better than that at that position.
As somebody who numbers are a big part of what you do, you had a lot of big numbers last year, impact plays and stuff like that. When you have a big season like that, what's the challenge in backing that up the next year and managing your expectations if maybe he doesn't have X amount of X or force fumbles and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, what I've learned is, you win in the off season. It's all about preparation. It's how you carry yourself in the off season, your approach to the gym, your approach to the track, and your approach to studying film. And he won that. He won every single day. When he was here, he was one of the hardest working guys in the building. And then he went down to back home in Louisiana and worked extremely hard with his guys there. I think he did. He worked out with Ryan Clark. So being able to follow guys on social media these days, you can keep track of them. And he was one of those guys that, worked extremely hard.
Brandon, there was you loved your first catch, obviously, but there was one over the middle.
Yeah.
That you seemed unhappy that you did not come up with. You seemed to beat yourself up over it. I mean, is that, tell me about that play, and, that ticks you off, I guess, right?
Yeah, because, it's timing. It was there, and that's where Eli was supposed to go with the ball. And, as a receiver, you got to build that chemistry with your quarterback. And, what I did wasn't wrong if it was a different offense. I kind of throttled in the zone. And Eli, he wants you to run through it. So it wasn't like I slowed down, but I could have bursted through that first hole, and I would have caught the ball. So literally, I was probably a foot away from making a big play for the team, and I missed it because of that timing. So now, I got it, and I won't make that mistake again.
Last year, what you did would have been correct?
Well, because Eli's a guy. I think he's third in league in getting the ball out, right? So as a receiver, when you get in and out of the breaks, you got to get your head around, right? Playing it with other guys that had strong arms, those guys, I wouldn't say strong arms. There's some guys that have strong arms, and they wait until they wait to see if you're open. Eli, he has a very good arm, and he also has amazing timing. So that's the difference is, Eli is one of the best at getting the ball out fast, and as a receiver, you got to get your head around and you got to run.
When
your experience with new offenses, how long do you think it'll take before you're on that same page and you stop thinking like you said?
I mean, I can't answer that. I mean, like it takes plays like that, right? So, you know, to be really good in the league, you can't make the same mistakes twice. So you got to be able to coach and be coached up on the fly. And you know, I was able to see it and feel it, and that, you know, went to the side and talked to E about it a little bit. And you know, now I know when I have that route, you know, I'll hit it in there a little faster.
Today was a day where Odell, you know, he caught a ball deep.
Odell being Odell?
Yeah, that guy.
Amazing.
Caught a ball deep, he made a diving catch, he had another long play. When you see him doing that, you're sitting there going, wow, defense is going to have to watch him so much. It's going to really be good for me.
Yes. Absolutely. That's why I came here. Because of him. You know, I'm tired of getting double coverage and viced in the red zone. I'll let him, you know, freaking carry all the weight.
It's only the first couple days of training camp, so it's obviously a little early to tell. But do you think you're developing a good chemistry and repertoire with Odell and your fellow receivers?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're in a great place. You know, still got a lot of work to do, and you know that stuff takes time. You know, we still haven't, you know, put a lot of effort into doing things off the field yet because we haven't had the time. But that's where you really built those relationships to get through the good and the bad times. So, you know, we'll get there.
Do some of the younger guys look up to you as like a locker room leader? Do they ask you like questions about the NFL experience and whatnot, about having success in this league?
Yeah, absolutely. It was pretty interesting. A couple of months ago, you know, this might be a little rated R, but I was walking in the showers, and there was this guy who was like, "Man, Brandon, I remember watching you when I was in middle school." Like, what? You know, it tells how old I'm getting, right? I mean, I got a teammate who was literally watching me in the NFL when he was in middle school, and that kind of, you know, shocked me a little bit. So, you know, I think, you know, I have a lot of experiences, good and bad, that these guys can pull from.
What's the best lesson you can impart on these guys?
You know what? When you're younger, you know, you have a sense of entitlement. When you're younger, you think that you have a lot of time, and you know, when you get older, you really understand how precious every single day is, every rep, every practice, every game, and it's really, you know, I guess for me, it's embracing this moment. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it really is a privilege to be here. You know, they've earned it, but you know, the National Football League, been around for a long time, and it's going to be here, you know, long after we're gone. So, you know, don't have that sense of entitlement and really understand that it's a blessing every time we step foot on the field.
Brandon, has there been kind of a balance for you? Because you're trying to learn a new system, a new organization, but yet guys, I would assume, are coming to you for advice, for questions. Is that a hard balance to strike?
I don't think so. I just think that's part of the game for everyone in all sports. You know, that's what the locker room's about, is holding each other accountable and just leaning on each other.
With Odell, I mean, are you okay? I don't want to make this sound bad, but being the number 2 guy, I mean, is the important thing kind of winning as opposed to getting the most catches or something?
No, it's all important. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys about that. As a receiver, that's what makes us great, but that's also what holds us back, right? You know, you got to be able to check your ego. It's definitely about winning, but at the same time, you know, guys want to perform as well, you know, and you know, I've been there, done that. You know, I've had 100 catches, you know, several times, and you know, done some amazing things. Went to some Pro Bowls, and the only thing that I haven't checked off is, you know, being able to earn one of those Lombardi trophies.
When a guy like Odell puts out a video that says, you know, I would like to be the highest paid player in the league, and how much is that something you guys talk about in the locker room? Maybe not necessarily with him, but amongst the teammates?
Well, I mean, I think anything that happens in New York is, you get a lot of attention. You know, you sit in the cafeteria, and the New York Giants are always on NFL Network and ESPN. So, you know, it's it's one of those things where you have to deal with it, right? If you want to be a good player in New York, you want to be a great team in New York, you have to be able to, and Coach McAdoo, he said it twice already in camp, enjoy it. It's a blessing. Look out there, you see this amazing skyline, this New York City, but you can't let that stuff overwhelm you. So, Odell obviously is the best player in the NFL, and, he's going to get a lot of attention on and off the field. And, as a teammate, you got to be there to support him. You got to be able to, deal with that as well, because he's he's not even a superstar, he's a rock star. It's something that our NFL has never seen before. This guy's a global icon already at the age of, 24, 25?
So monetarily, do you feel like he should be paid as the best player in the NFL when, quarterbacks typically set that market?
Yeah, how you doing, Josina?
Hi,
great question, right? You know what? That's part of the NFL's negotiations, and there's some good negotiators and some bad negotiators. And, I found it gets kind of sticky when you put your head in another teammate's business. And all you can do is support them, because as a player you understand you only get a few years to really maximize your earnings. But then there's their team side, which you got to understand. They got to do what's best for the team. So, he's put in the work, and I think Mr. Mayer already came out and said, he's earned a new check. So we'll see what happens.